But there's quite a few British Talent Cup riders on this grid. You've got Cameron Horseman, who's been promoted from the British Talent Cup. He's riding a GP2 this year. He was British Talent Cup runner-up last year. Eddie O'Shea, he's a British Talent Cup rider. Harrison Crosby also, he's 5th on the grid and definitely capable of running at the front of this race. Harvey Claridge, we've seen him in many classes in FAB-Racing, and he's in the British Talent Cup at the moment as well. Bailey Stewart Campbell in 8th place. He lines up just beside Tom Whedon. Ryan Hitchcock also further back on this grid, the number 43. We've seen him in British Talent Cup. Taylor Lawrence, the number 10, he'll line up just next to him in 10th spot. And then it looks like James Cook. But all the attention is to the lights now as Charlie Nesbitt gets a rocket start from second position to take the lead then. Absolutely brilliant start from Charlie Nesbitt. He's already got a tiny bit of breathing space, but all over the back of him at the moment is the number 72 of Cameron Horseman, all over the back of Casey O'Gorman. So will we see a few riders battling for the lead, or will Charlie Nesbitt be able to run away with it like he has done yesterday? Casey O'Gorman, though, you'd like to think he'd be able to stick with Charlie. Yeah, keep your eyes on this one. Everyone watching in the paddock and at home, because it's going to get very tasty indeed. Charlie Nesbitt leads across the line, but Casey O'Gorman and Cameron Horseman are going with him. We've got a breakaway 3 after lap 1. We've got, it's Harvey Claridge, in third. The other British Talent Cup. So yeah, Harvey Claridge with them 16. In third. So yeah, brilliant start from Harvey Claridge to come back from 6th on the grid up into 3rd spot. We thought that was Cameron Horseman at the beginning. Bailey Stewart Campbell as well, also a brilliant start up into 4th place. So brilliant stuff from him. Another British Talent Cup rider. It's almost like a second British Talent Cup race, this one, with Charlie Nesbitt, showing these boys how it's done. Yeah, absolutely so. And down into the next lap, it is still Charlie Nesbitt that leads this one with Casey O'Gorman going with him. It's a little bit slow out of turn 1 and turn 2 there for Harvey Claridge, and he's been dropped a little bit by Casey and Charlie, who are starting to put the pressure on. And Casey O'Gorman was split 2.5 tenths of a second between himself and Charlie Nesbitt, so Charlie's got a race on if he's to hold on to another win in the Extreme 200s here. Their first race of round 2 here at Lydd in the southeast of England in Kent. But down the back straight, Charlie, you can see, head down, trying to minimise the drag and pull away from Casey O'Gorman. But Casey, eyes fully fixed on the rear of Charlie Nesbitt's bike, and he will be chasing him down as they come across the line. Their best laps are split by about 1/10 of a second. Charlie Nesbitt just with the advantage. Yeah, Charlie Nesbitt doing a great job at the front to set a good pace. 40.7, that's the quickest lap we've seen all weekend. But Casey O'Gorman just about managing to match him with a 40.8. So these guys at the front pushing real hard to try and make a break. Charlie's trying to make a break from Casey, but it's not quite working at the moment. He's got a little bit of breathing space at the moment, but as we look currently at the battle between Bailey Stewart Campbell and Harrison Crosby, the number 93. Very interesting battle going on there for 4th position. Tom Whedon there as well, the number 14, with the bright yellow leathers, just clinging on to the back of these guys. But there is Harvey Claridge, the number 16, currently in 3rd place, coming under a little bit of pressure here from the number, can't quite make out what that number is, but coming under a little bit of pressure for 3rd place is the British Talent Cup rider at the moment. Yeah, and Harvey Claridge, good start from him, up in 3rd position in the opening stages. He started 6th on the grid, so it's good to see him moving forward, however, falling back a little bit from this lead battle, Charlie Nesbitt and Casey O'Gorman. And in fact, Charlie starting to extend a bit of a lead over Casey. It's now up to 0.8 of a second. Harvey Claridge 4.2 seconds back. The battle is going on between Harrison Crosby and Bailey Stewart Campbell. The pair split by 0.2 of a second across the line. Harrison Crosby moving up past Bailey Stewart Campbell. Harrison, another rider that had a good weekend, good Saturday, a couple of podiums. So yeah, Harrison, a one to watch, pushing up towards that podium. Yeah, absolutely. We saw how quick Harrison Crosby was yesterday, and he's really pushing on in the low 41s now. So brilliant stuff from him. But someone who's really pushing on is your race leader, Charlie Nesbitt. 40.6 on that last lap. Just slightly dropped off there with a 41 flat, but doing a really good job to control this race at the front. As we look at Harvey Claridge defending third place now, the number 16. You can see with the British Talent Cup leathers, white liveried bike. Doing really well to cover his lines at the moment and defend that third place. A little bit of a slide there, just behind, but nothing too much to worry about for that rider.
No, absolutely not. But as you say, Charlie Nesbitt extending that gap at the front. His best lap of 40.6. As you said, the best lap we've seen so far this weekend. And he's getting faster and faster and faster with every race. He's taking at least a tenth of a second off his time. We're heading down towards the low 40s, which is a remarkable time, especially on these Extreme 200s. And Charlie Nesbitt really enjoying his weekend at Lydd. And Casey O'Gorman trying to put the pressure on, but Charlie is just seemed to have every race he's been part of locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys we saw yesterday push each other to the absolute limits. Casey O'Gorman now with a 40.6. So yeah, these guys pushing each other really hard. You can see on track he's definitely closer. Half a second it was over the line last time, as we almost see a change for third place now, as Harvey Claridge is defending from the number 8. I think we may have a problem with the transponder for the number 8, because he's not coming up on our timing screens at the moment. It's Harrison Crosby who we have in fourth spot on the timing screens, who's actually 5th. So Harvey Claridge currently defending from the number 8 rider just behind him, and loses. So Harvey Claridge down to 4th spot at the moment. So that is disaster for Harvey Claridge, as he's falling back through the field and has just caught up with the back marker there. So he's just trying to find his way past that back marker, but struggling. He's going to fall into the clutches of Harrison Crosby now.
Yeah, the gap at the front is now closed up to 0.3 of a second. Traffic starting to become a problem for Charlie Nesbitt, and it's allowed Casey O'Gorman to close right up as we go in with 3 laps left to go in this one. So battle not over. Expect to see it go down to the wire. Casey O'Gorman not willing to give up. We've seen yesterday making late moves to take victories in several classes, and Casey is not going to give up. Charlie's got a bit of work to hold on to this win in the Extreme 200s, but we've seen he's already taken it to task to try and pick up as many wins as possible this weekend. And but Casey is going to close him down over the last 2 laps as they come across the line to start the penultimate lap, and battle is well and truly on. Casey O'Gorman wants that victory.
Yeah, you can tell Casey O'Gorman really wants this. He's pushing really hard to stay onto the back wheel of Charlie Nesbitt, but where will we see him make a move? We saw yesterday Casey O'Gorman in the GP70 class stayed behind Johnny Garnett, studied him, and then finally made a nice clean move into the second chicane on this circuit. So will we see a similar thing in this race? We know how hard Charlie likes to fight. We've seen how hard he's fought with Brad Ray, so it's definitely going to be a tough win for Casey O'Gorman, but definitely not out of an option.
No, absolutely not, as Charlie Nesbitt comes across the line to start the last lap of the first race of the week, first race of round 2 for the Extreme 200s. Casey O'Gorman chasing him down behind. We've got Harvey Claridge and Harrison Crosby battling out over the final position on the podium. Harvey holding on to 3rd currently. Harrison Crosby wanting to pick up that 3rd place finish, but it is going to be Charlie Nesbitt down the back straight. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Casey, so it's going to have to be a late break for Casey if he's to close in on Charlie. But it's going to be Charlie Nesbitt across the line that takes the win in the Extreme 200s. Casey O'Gorman in 2nd, back in 3rd place. Across the line it's going to be mighty close between several drivers, and across the line does come it's Harrison Crosby, in fact, gets it on the last lap ahead of Harvey Claridge. So disaster for Harvey, drops off the podium. He drops back to 4th. Bailey Stewart Campbell in 5th. Tom Whedon in 6th. Ryan Hitchcock is currently circulating in 7th, comes across the line, and it should be Ryan Hitchcock in 7th. It is, with Jack Andrews in 8th place. Cameron Horseman, not a great race for him. He's down in 9th after starting on 3rd.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for Cameron Horseman. I'm not sure if he had a problem or didn't quite start that race, because he was 7 2 laps behind there, so possibly had a problem in that one. Evan Belford also not finishing this one, and a few riders not starting this one, but Charlie Nesbitt it was then who took the win from Casey O'Gorman. We were waiting for a fight, and there it is confirmed. Charlie Nesbitt 40.6 and takes the win by 0.2 of a second over Casey O'Gorman. Harrison Crosby it was who took 3rd place ahead of Harvey Claridge, Bailey Stewart Campbell, Tom Whedon in 6th place ahead of the number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock in 7th. Andrews it was who took 8th ahead of Cameron Horseman and Evan Belford.
And the track has got considerably wetter over the last 2 races. A lot of standing water out there, and yeah, making it a lot more exciting for us and for you watching at home. And for everyone watching at home, thank you for joining us on FAB-Racing.co.uk, their Facebook channel, or of course their YouTube, and or if you're listening live on motorsport.radio. Plenty of places to find out, and let us know who you're cheering for, who you're watching, and what you want to see. And it's always good to hear from you in the comments. These guys being given a sighted lap to go out and test that grip level out there, and Casey O'Gorman will be the one leading the charge at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Casey O'Gorman starting from pole position. Looks like we've had a crash there for Cameron Horseman. He's gone down on the sighting lap there, just getting his bike started up again. So an unfortunate start to the race for Cameron Horseman with the British Talent Cup leathers. They're trying to get his bike started and back out there. So yeah, frustrating race already for some of these riders.
Yeah, absolutely. So tricky conditions, and yeah, perhaps just not going to plan so far for Cam Horseman, and he will be hoping to get that bike started and get his way round to the back of the pack before the riders come around and start the race off. And Casey O'Gorman's coming around to the grid now, so Cam Horseman, a lot of work to get this done. And we've got reports the rain is starting to come down even heavier now, as it looks as though from the box that Cam Horseman wheeling that bike over to the side of the circuit, so it looks as though he won't be taking the start.
Yeah, no, unfortunate one for Cameron Horseman. He's wheeling his bike back into the paddock, back down pit lane, so very unfortunate for him, but now all eyes are on the flag. And Casey O'Gorman starting from pole position gets a nice clean start, a little bit of a wheelie for him, but nothing too much to worry about. The number 93 there goes up into 2nd place. That's Harrison Crosby. So Casey O'Gorman leading from Harrison Crosby as they head into the chicane for the first time. In number 8 it is in 3rd place, just ahead of the number 16 of Harvey Claridge there with the British Talent Cup leathers and the white livery on that bike there.
Yep, great start there from Casey O'Gorman, the 172. Maintains the lead of this one after starting towards the front, and yep, you can see it's going to be hard work for Harrison Crosby to close him in, because we'll find out. Casey has been pretty dominant so far this weekend. Can he do it in the wet?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen anything from him in wet weather conditions so far this weekend, so whatever happens now it's all completely unseen territory at the moment. But Casey O'Gorman doing a great job on this opening lap, fastest round from a standing start, so a good start for the race for Casey O'Gorman, and looking comfortable in a good place to be able to pick up 25 points in this Extreme 200 race. The number 93 of Harrison Crosby doing really well in 2nd place there, 1.1 second gap back to Crosby from O'Gorman, but Harvey Claridge now looking really menacing there in 4th spot, just attacking the number 8 there of Eddie O'Shea. Both these guys British Talent Cup riders, as well as actually all of these guys British Talent Cup riders in this race, so it's like a second British Talent Cup race at the moment with this 6-rider grid at the moment.
Yep, absolutely so, and they all want to get one over each other, so it's going to be Casey O'Gorman across the line. 2nd is Harrison Crosby. Eddie O'Shea holding on to 3rd place with Harvey Claridge not far behind. Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ryan Hitchcock a little bit further back, possibly struggling on these conditions out there, you can see, but it's Casey O'Gorman comfortably in the lead. In fact, he's in the 52.3s, Harrison Crosby only in the 53.1, so Casey almost a second a lap faster at the moment. He's seemingly finding grip out there that others aren't, and already early on, with 8 laps left to go, Casey O'Gorman controlling this race from the front.
Bit of a wobble there from Harvey Claridge on the exit of the chicane on the far end of the circuit as he comes onto the back straight one more time. You can see Harrison Crosby there. He's been closed in by Eddie O'Shea and Harvey Claridge, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. And that's Eddie O'Shea now taking second place away from Harrison Crosby, so that's now Eddie O'Shea into second place, Harrison Crosby third, and currently Harvey Claridge in fourth spot. Betty Stewart Campbell just behind these guys, and Ryan Hitchcock also in sixth. But it is Casey O'Gorman now absolutely stamping his authority over his British Talent Cup competitors now. But if you just look at the inside knee of Harvey Claridge at the moment, it looks like his knee slider is hanging off there and very close to coming off. So some trouble for Harvey Claridge in terms of a flapping knee slider there. So that may very well become even more of a problem for him, as that could very well fly off at any minute.
Yeah, absolutely so, and that's the last thing you want. And you can see for Harvey, how much of a distraction is that, especially in these conditions?
Yeah, it's definitely off-putting. I've experienced it before. I had it in a qualifying session last year, and it's really not something you want, because as soon as you put your knee down and the slider's not there, and you just hit the Velcro on the ground, it catches and it really unsettles you. But when he knows it's there, it's not going to be as much of a problem in these wet weather conditions, because obviously you don't have your knee down as much in the wet, because you're not leaning as much. It's doing a good job to just still stay on there. It's there, but it's not quite doing anything at the moment, so he's just going to have to be careful of that one. You can see him just hovering his knee over the ground there and not quite fully putting pressure on his knee through that corner.
Casey O'Gorman doing a fastest lap last time around of a 51.2, half a second faster than Eddie O'Shea, but Eddie O'Shea dipping into the 51s on a 51.7. So no slouch, he's trying to close in, but it looks as though with 6 laps left to go that this is Casey's race to lose. But Eddie O'Shea, good start from him up into second place, and consistent laps from him. In fact, I say that as Harvey Claridge gets past him. So Harvey Claridge with a 50.776 on that lap.
Yeah, so Harvey Claridge with the fastest lap of the race by quite some margin, and almost a good chunk faster than Casey O'Gorman at this point in time. So could we see Harvey Claridge bring down that 3.5 second lead that Casey O'Gorman has over him?
Absolutely so. So, yeah, Harvey Claridge on a charge in this late stage. The rain is really starting to come down now here in Lydd. Completely the opposite from what we saw yesterday in the bright sunshine. And, yeah, it's really starting to hurt some of these drivers. But also, equally like Harvey Claridge, number 16, he's starting to come alive as Casey Gorman comes across the line, does a 51.4. Harvey Claridge does a 55. So Harvey Claridge is really quick in these last stages. We've got 4 laps left to go, and he's got a really good shot. It's only 2.6 now to Casey. Yeah,
absolutely. He's clawed that gap in. He's brought a second out of that gap at the moment. So brilliant stuff from Harvey Claridge at the moment. You can visibly see that he's definitely closer on circuit. There he is, right there. He's gapped Eddie O'Shea and is absolutely on a charge now with that knee slider still hanging about. Casey O'Gorman's trying to stamp his authority on his British Talent Cup competitors at the moment. Casey O'Gorman looking very good in testing for the British Talent Cup and looking as one of the favourites going into the championship. But at the moment, he has to contend with current British Talent Cup rider Harvey Claridge, who's really reeling him in now. But on that last lap, Casey O'Gorman has responded with a 51.1. So very close lap times between those two, matching Harvey Claridge's pace on that last lap. So Casey O'Gorman has responded. You could see him looking behind him there. He knew Harvey Claridge was coming and has absolutely responded now with 3 laps to go.
Yep, 2.6 seconds is the gap between the pair. And as you say, the lap last time was split by 4 thousandths of a second, and there goes that knee slider for Harvey Claridge. So yeah, that's got rid of that. Oh, I say that as it looks as though maybe something else came off, because the knee slider's still flapping around. So yeah, Harvey Claridge falling apart on circuit when it comes to his I
think that's the knee slider gone, and that's just hit the bike of Eddie O'Shea there. Not a problem for him, just bounced off. But it looks like, I'm pretty sure, Harvey Claridge has lost both his knee sliders now, so he's going to have to be careful on both sides which he's leading. That gap now is stretched back out to 3 seconds. So Casey O'Gorman responding even more with a 51 flat there on that last lap. 0.4 of a second faster than Claridge on that last lap. So I think Harvey Claridge with no knee sliders on those Alpine Star British Talent Cup leathers is just struggling for a bit of pace now, as he can't quite get his knee down as he'd like to. That's both knee sliders gone now. You can see there on the other side, 2 black marks. There's no white knee sliders on his knees at all now. So I think he needs to get some stronger chewing gum to stick those on.
Absolutely so, and he's really starting to come under threat now. And there you go, through goes Eddie O'Shea. So the arm goes up from Eddie O'Shea as he clears him. Harvey Claridge dropping down now into third. I think Harvey Claridge is coming into pit lane now, probably because of the issues he's having with his knee sliders. So that's forcing Harvey Claridge to sit out of this race. Such a shame, because he was really flying in this race. Casey O'Gorman looking behind him then. 1 lap to go for Casey, and he will pick up 25 points here in the Extreme 200 race. He's done a brilliant job out front, set a very fast lap on that last lap, a 50.7, very close to the fastest lap of the race, which was set by Harvey Claridge earlier on. Such a shame that we couldn't see Harvey try and catch Casey, because he was really flying at one point in this race. But that's it, a brilliant ride from Casey O'Gorman as he goes into the final corner for the final time of asking. Nice and cleanly does it as he crosses the line for the final time in this race. Casey O'Gorman is the winner of race 2 for the Extreme 200s. Brilliant run from Casey O'Gorman. Eddie O'Shea it will be then that takes second place, and the battle for fourth place we're just looking at now there between Bailey Stewart Campbell and Ryan Hitchcock there. It just looks like Ryan Hitchcock's got the better of Bailey Stewart Campbell on this last lap. So that's the battle for fourth happening there. The number 93 of Harrison Crosby has crossed the line to take third place. So that's your first, second and third. Casey O'Gorman, Eddie O'Shea and Harrison Crosby in that one. Ryan Hitchcock it will be then that takes that fourth place ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell in fifth. And that's all the riders from this race. Yep, fantastic race there for Casey O'Gorman, and adds to the points tally that he accumulated yesterday with some fantastic results here in the Extreme 200s. And I think we're now probably the worst conditions we've seen so far this weekend. The rain really sheeting down here in Lydd, and a big commiserations goes out to our wonderful cameramen out there that are probably standing out in this driving rain and doing a marvellous job making sure that everyone can see this action at home. So yeah, make sure you get in touch on the socials and say a big thank you to those guys as they provide an absolute brilliant service to us.
Cameron Horseman just slightly late to the grid there. We've got a grid full of British Talent Cup riders, but just coming to join the grid is a British Talent Cup graduate. Cameron Horseman, runner-up last year in the British Talent Cup and running in the GP2 class this year. He joins onto the back of the grid, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. All eyes to the flag now as Casey O'Gorman gets a good start off of the line there. You can see the number 93 there of Harrison Crosby, also very aggressive on the inside. Cameron Horseman is further back in on that grid. So there it is. Casey O'Gorman leading on this opening lap here at the moment. Just having a look at the number 93 of Harrison Crosby there. He's having a good race at the moment. Eddie O'Shea up into second place at the moment. Does he have the pace to go with Casey O'Gorman? He's right on his rear wheel at the moment, so no breathing space for Casey at the moment. What can Eddie O'Shea do about the flying youngster Casey O'Gorman as they head down into the final corner for the first time? You can see there Cameron Horseman further back, and Harvey Claridge with the British Talent Cup leathers there in fourth place, also looking menacing. We saw how fast he was earlier on, but Eddie O'Shea is who's fastest on circuit at the moment. Casey O'Gorman it is that leads though, so what can Eddie O'Shea do about the pocket rocket Casey O'Gorman?
Absolutely, Casey getting a good start but not dropping the rest of the field. Eddie O'Shea, Harrison Crosby and Harvey Claridge all going with him, so Casey needs to get a shift on if he's to break away from Eddie O'Shea, who's had a good start.
And I think he's listening to, because it looks as if he's just stretching out that gap at the front there. A little bit of breathing space now for Casey O'Gorman. Can Eddie O'Shea respond?
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, Eddie O'Shea still staying with Casey O'Gorman, so Casey not making that breakaway that we thought he might done that. He did in race 2. Eddie O'Shea with a good race so far, holding on to Casey O'Gorman, so showing some really nice pace late in the weekend here from Eddie O'Shea, the number 8 machine, and he is currently on a little bit of a mini breakaway with Casey O'Gorman. They started to pull away from Harrison Crosby and Harvey Claridge, who are having a nice little battle between themselves for third on the in the field, and it is currently the 93 Harrison Crosby holding on to third, Harvey Claridge back in 4th position, Bailey Stewart Campbell a little bit further back from them, whilst Ryan Hitchcock and Cameron Horseman down in 6th and 7th.
Yeah, Harvey Claridge just making a move at the inside for third place there, so that's Harvey Claridge with both knee sliders still on at the moment. Hopefully he's got some better chewing gum to stick those on now then. So that's Harvey Claridge up into 3rd spot now, so let's see what he can do. Can he catch the likes of Eddie O'Shea and Casey O'Gorman as they come across the line? Casey O'Gorman not completely running away with this one. Eddie O'Shea just about hanging on to Casey's coattails at the moment, just proving that he has what it takes to stick with the pocket rocket at the moment. As we just look at Eddie O'Shea there, the number 8 doing everything he can to stay on the back of Casey O'Gorman. 0.7 of a second it was over the line. It looks like Casey's just stretching that out even further, but Harvey Claridge just behind them looking very menacing indeed. We can see, have to see what he can do with both knee sliders in this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and Casey setting a purple lap last time round of 49.2, 0.2 of a second faster than Eddie O'Shea, and you can see the gap is just being extended a little bit. Eddie O'Shea just dropping back from the rear tyre of Casey O'Gorman as they come across the line with 6 laps left to go in this one. Casey O'Gorman is doing a brilliant job as he does another fastest lap there, 48.4, 0.4 of a second faster than Eddie O'Shea. In fact, Harvey Claridge doing a fast lap there from Eddie O'Shea, so Harvey Claridge will be looking at closing in that slight gap. He's got just under 2 seconds between himself and Eddie O'Shea, but this is a good showing from Eddie O'Shea, pushing Casey early on and holding on to a decent podium.
Yeah, absolutely, brilliant ride from Eddie O'Shea, trying to hang on to Casey at the moment. Harvey Claridge, we saw him climbing up earlier on today, so 48.6 on that last lap. He's got a good pace, and as this race settles, I'm sure he'll be able to find even more. 6 laps to go of this one, so plenty of time for Harvey to catch Eddie O'Shea, and plenty of time for Eddie O'Shea to respond to the pace of Casey O'Gorman. But Casey O'Gorman on that last lap of 48.3 sets the fastest lap of the race, just to prove he is the fastest on circuit at this point in time. Eddie O'Shea 49 flat on that last lap, so Harvey Claridge managed to close in by 0.4 of a second on that last lap, so we could see Harvey Claridge threatening Eddie O'Shea for 2nd place at the moment. As we just look at Harrison Crosby there, the number 93 in 4th place. He's currently protecting 4th place from the number 99 just behind him of Bailey Stewart Campbell.
Yep, the battle for 4th on track at the moment with the 172 Casey O'Gorman leading from the 8 of Eddie O'Shea. Harvey Claridge holding on to 3rd and trying to close in. The gap's now 1.5 seconds. Does it close down? It's now down to 1 second between Harvey Claridge. He goes purple at 48.1 for Harvey Claridge, so going faster there than Casey O'Gorman, who's leading this race. So the gap is coming down between Harvey Claridge and Eddie O'Shea. He's looking at closing in with 4 laps left to go. Harrison Crosby and Bailey Stewart Campbell still fighting out on circuit over 4th place, and you can see Harrison just putting his bike in all the right places and making it incredibly hard for Bailey to find any place to put that bike to get the move up into 4th place. Bailey gets a good run out of the long hairpin, but once again Harrison on the power early holds on to 4th place. But Harvey Claridge once again still closing in on Eddie O'Shea, going purple, and I'm sure you can see he's having his down.
And that's a rider down. Was that the number 93 of Harrison? I believe that's number 19. That is Bailey Stewart Campbell that's gone down there. He was trying to find a way through on Harrison Crosby, but unfortunately just lost it at turn 12, as we've seen many riders do. But now, looking back at the front here, Harvey Claridge is right on the rear wheel of Eddie O'Shea there, so we wondered if he could do it. Well, he's done it with 3 laps to go. Now the challenge for Harvey Claridge is getting past Eddie O'Shea. He's got 2.5 laps to do it and he'll be on for second place in this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fight is well and truly on for second between Eddie O'Shea and Harvey Claridge, with 3 laps left to go. That turns into 2 as Casey O'Gorman crosses the line, and it is going to be Harvey Claridge that takes the lead. Got up the inside into penultimate corner, taking second place. So Harvey Claridge using this late fast pace in this race, moving up. Eddie O'Shea doesn't seem to have anything to come back at him with. He was going with Casey O'Gorman earlier on, but unfortunately falling back with pace, but still holding on to the podium. Harrison Crosby in 4th place. Ryan Hitchcock now up to 5th with Bailey Stewart Campbell unfortunately falling down after that fall at the dreaded turn 12, which we've seen so many riders suffer with over the last 2 days. But it is currently Casey O'Gorman as he comes on to the last lap that's leading by a comfortable 3-second margin over Harvey Claridge, who's doing a great job to put the pressure on late on. You can see he's gone purple once again, a 47.8 there for Harvey Claridge. He's really lighting up the times in this late stage of the race, but it looks as though with a 2.5 second gap that Casey O'Gorman is going to hold on to this one, but Harvey Claridge is doing all he can. Eddie O'Shea doesn't have anything to come back at him with. It was a second faster there for Harvey Claridge as they exit the long hairpin, coming into the double right-hander and then sweep around turn 11 into the turn 12 corner that's caught out so many riders, but it looks as though Casey gets around it. He's now just going to blast down the back straight for the final time of the weekend and enter into the final 2 corners. Casey O'Gorman comes around the final corner. He's going to take the checkered flag and the win once again in the Extreme 200s. Behind him is Harvey Claridge, a brilliant race for him. He takes second ahead of Eddie O'Shea on the podium. Harrison Crosby is currently ahead of Ryan Hitchcock, and they are coming up to the final corners now, and it looks like Harrison Crosby might be taking that 4th place, and Ryan Hitchcock and Cameron Horseman in 5th and 6th as Harrison does come across the line in 4th, Ryan Hitchcock in 5th, and Cameron Horseman a little bit further back in 6th position. Unfortunately we lost Bailey Stewart Campbell, but another brilliant race there for Casey O'Gorman.
Yeah, very well controlled race at the front for Casey. He got right at the front and then kept extending his lead, and then kept the control of it right at the end. Unfortunately for Harvey Claridge, he just ran out of laps there, was closing down your leader Casey O'Gorman, but didn't quite have enough laps to have a go at making a move. Eddie O'Shea, brilliant podium for him ahead of Harrison Crosby, number 93. Ryan Hitchcock, who we saw do very well in the LC 40 Elites earlier on, he took 5th spot, and Cameron Horseman, the number 72, took 6th. Unfortunately, Bailey Stewart Campbell didn't finish the race, the number 99. He went down at turn 12, so unfortunate for him, but a brilliant ride from Casey O'Gorman, Harvey Claridge and Eddie O'Shea.